Let us see a few basics about setting options in command line mode. As per the manual, Vim has a number of internal variables and switches which can be set to achieve special effects. These options come in three forms: Boolean, number, and string. Boolean options can only be either on or off. A number setting has a numerical value and a string setting has a string value. Let us see an example for each of these three forms. First, a Boolean setting. Currently, the setting cursor line is off. Now, if we set cursor line, this should turn on and you will see the effect immediately as well. So the current line will have a highlighting background. So this is a Boolean option which we set in the command line mode. Next, an example for numerical setting. So by default, the history setting value is 50. If you want to change it, you can assign a new value. So for example, set history equal to 200. Next, let us see an example for string setting. WW is a short form for which wrap. So this has a default value. We'll see later how to see that value as well. Let us add left and right arrows. So set which wrap, we are adding some value. So WW already has some value, we are adding the new value. So left and right square bracket separated by a comma. So when you add this setting, this will allow left and right arrows to move across lines in insert mode. So first let me escape this. So before setting this option, let me show what happens by default. So let me go to insert mode, go to start of the line. Now if I try to press left arrow, you can see the cursor does not move at all. Similarly, if I go to the end of the line and press right arrow, it does not move across line. Now let me go back to normal mode, and if I add this setting, and now if I go to insert mode and press right arrow, you will see it will move across lines as well. Similarly, at the start of the line, it will go back to the previous line. So we saw an example each for Boolean, numerical, and string settings. So these are just basics. A separate chapter is dedicated for customizing Vim. Next, let us see a few usage guidelines for these settings. So set a Boolean setting. So name of the Boolean setting, if you use set and that name, it will be switched on. So for example, expand tab. So this setting will use space whenever you press the tab key. So first let me show an example. By default, if I press tab, it inserts a tab character. So if I move to the left, you can see it's on the tab character, and if I move to the left again, it goes to the previous character. So this entire area is a single tab key. And now if I use set expand tab and if I press tab key, so this area will be filled with spaces. So if I move to the left, you can see each character is a space character. So to switch on a Boolean setting, use set followed by the name of the Boolean setting. Next, let us see how to toggle a setting. So if you just add exclamation mark to the setting name, it will toggle the setting. So previously if it was on, it will turn off. If it was previously off, it will be turned on. So currently expand tab is set. If I add exclamation mark, it should turn off. So let us check. I'm going to press tab and let us see what happens if I move to the left and another left. So you can see this is a single tab key and this is separate space characters. You can also use invert and the option name. So for example, set invert and option name is expand tab. So this will also toggle the setting. So currently it is off. Now it should turn on. Tab. If I move left, it should be all spaces. So we have seen how to switch on a Boolean setting, toggle the Boolean setting. Next, we'll see how to switch off a Boolean setting. So just add no as a prefix. So the name of the setting is expand tab. If you prefix with no, then it will turn off that Boolean setting, whether it is previously on or off. By using set no expand tab, this will turn off the setting. So if I press tab, it should insert a tab key, not spaces. Next, let us see how to get the current value of an option. So if you add a question mark, this will work for all the three formats, whether it is Boolean setting, numerical setting or a string setting. Just by adding a question mark to the name of the option, you can get the current value of that particular option. So let us see an example. Expand tab and question mark. So it says no expand tab, which means that particular Boolean setting is off. We previously changed the history numerical value, right? We set it to 200. So by adding a question mark, we should see that new value. And let us check the WW setting as well. So by default, it is B and S. Previously, we added left and right square brackets. So just by adding a question mark to the setting name, you can get the current value of that particular option. This works for all the three forms. If you use just the option name, we previously saw that it switches on for the Boolean setting. For numerical and string setting, this will show the current value as well. So set history. So since this is a numerical setting, adding a question mark is optional. Similarly for string, adding a question mark is optional. But the easiest way to remember is just add a question mark to get the current value of a particular option, whether it is a Boolean or a numerical setting or a string setting. See options.txt for complete list of usage guidelines and available options.